When I first had the idea to make videos on games now considered retro that I had completely missed, Metal Gear Solid was the first one I did, and it felt like a good place to start. After all, it wasn't just a game that I missed, but a full series that I gave it a go. I loved it. However, at the time, it wasn't easy to play the rest. It wasn't easy to play this. I played it on the PlayStation Classic, so I ended up focusing on other games I missed. Games like Croc, Streets of Rage, Star Wars Dark Forces, etc. But now I can play MGS2, and I have been able to for a while, so it's about time I finally play it. Straight away we're going after Metal Gear, not surprising considering the name of the game. We get a bit of an introduction and explanation as to what's happening, and immediately an unknown group kills the Marines on the ship, and everything has changed. Regardless of who the enemy is, we need to get to work. I'm very good at it. I do get to grips with the controls eventually, before heading inside. I'm a little slow on the draw, but good enough to get him down and then out of the way. Still not sure how I didn't get discovered with these two. I won't go through every encounter, but this is easy because it's still a tutorial. We're learning about cameras and then lasers and planted explosives. We get up to the bridge as requested. There's a lot more guys here than we thought. And also Olga. She'll be important later. And also kind of now because she's a boss battle. She's our first one. Is she hard? Not really. Do I struggle anyway? Yeah. The controls are not exactly what I would call standard, and I'm still a bit slow on them. I do eventually beat her, although I've only knocked her out. What's more concerning is that Revolver Ocelot is apparently a thing. First game. I like him, it's been cool to see him again, but still. Anyway, for now we head back down, continuing to prove that I'm not good at this game. Despite the lack of skill, we still managed to work our way down and through without being discovered. Getting rid of all these explosives. Well, it was meant to be easy. I spent longer here than I care to admit, but I eventually got through. We get our first firefight too, which I wasn't good at. We saw Revolver Ocelot though, which was cool. And also a big speech, but we're getting closer to Metal Gear, which is what we care about. A little bit of crawling around, and here he is. We have to go full paparazzi on him, at least when we're not getting caught. Then we get them uploaded, and we're done. But of course it doesn't go right. I won't go through the whole cutscene, because this game has a lot of cutscene. Russian mercs take over. Revolver Ocelot betrays them, blows up the ship. Apparently Liquid Snake is in his body because he has his arm now. He gets away with Metal Gear. Snake is dead. We save. The normal really. We're heading back then now to a decontamination facility decontaminating the mess left 2 years ago with that. We get inside and we're apparently Snake. But now we're riding. Okay then. Blonde hair though, so definitely not Solid Snake. Going through we find that Snake may be here, and also that we have no guns. We unlock a radar though, which is handy, and apparently we get to save by ringing our girlfriend. Right. We need to hide now and not get spotted, and I picked a bad spot. Apparently if you're being chased too, the lift doesn't work. I learned that the hard way. When it does though, mask off and we are definitely not Solid Snake. But apparently the terrorist leader is, except he's not because he's dead. Right, anyway, we get introduced to the whole facility where we'll be spending the game exploring and fighting and looking around and all that jazz. For now, we head in, do some sneaking around, which goes really well. Starts to get a bit better later because I get a gun. I did only say a bit better. Then it got a lot worse because we got a lot of blood and a lot of bodies. Turns out the SEAL team was killed by a vampire who gets saved, well, we get saved by a random guy who apparently is Lieutenant Pliskin. Definitely reminds me of someone else. It must be a coincidence though, surely. He doesn't have much faith in us, but we need to work together regardless, so we are. Heading out we meet a new foe, a woman who can't seem to be hit by bullets. She has a big gun too. I'm sure we'll meet her again. For now though, we go to the toilet, and then we meet the bomb disposal guy. Long story short, there's a guy named Fat Man here. He's planting C4, we need to freeze them, and we get the tools to do that. Now it's time to go and do it. The first one is in the women's toilets. Weird place for it, but okay. Next one is behind a locker, and then the other one we have to crawl into a generator room. Then more sneaking around, taking people down, and I'm finally not crap at this game. We take out another C4 before heading to a helipad and having a chat with a random person. They do tell us about Claymores and how to handle them though, so yay them. Heading up to the helipad, we find Olga again. I told you she'd be relevant later. She doesn't stick around long though. Next C4 is under the Harrier, which I get to without any problems. We hear the bomb guy's full backstory, which we don't need to go into for this video, because if I hit every single story beat with this video, this would be a 2-hour video. This is a very story heavy game, we're not going to do that. The more sneaking around gets us another C4 down, and then our bomb guy dies. Oh dear, and we have a 400-second timer until another one blows. Oh crap. The C4 is naturally all the way back at the start where we got in, so there. That was easy. Of course it has to get harder, so here's fortune. And we can't win. Literally, this boss is impossible for us to hit. We don't have to win because we can't, we just have to survive. Her seemingly lover arrives, the vampire from earlier, and we shoot him in the head. We were aiming for her. We take this opportunity to leave, but of course he's not dead yet. Neither of them seem to want to die. Anyway, we have another timer for more C4, and this one is back on the helipad. Defusing that gets us to meet Fat Man, who is a chubby bald guy on roller skates drinking wine with a straw. Yes, that is exactly who he is, and yes, he is a boss. Not a hard one though. We have to defuse the bombs before they blow, shoot him a few times, and then unload a tranquilizer into his head. Don't ask. Doing that several times takes him down. He justifies his actions and tells us there's one last big bomb. Fortunately, he was sitting on it, so that was easy to find. With that story, we meet a ninja who was surprisingly helpful. We need to find the president. To do that, we need help from a Secret Service agent. We learn who they are, how to identify them, where they are, and how to get the disguise to get to them. Very useful. First stage is finding the right gun, which I easily find in the warehouse. The weird thing is I don't remember getting a disguise, but I have it, so we'll do it. Now we have to find Ames as the pacemaker, which we will be listening to with a microphone. It's weird, I know, but that's what we're doing. With the disguise, it's easy to get. Getting to him, though, is more difficult because we need to use a retinal scanner. Turns out, can't use the corpse for it. That's annoying. I'm not good at kidnapping, which is perhaps a good thing, but I eventually get it and get in. We find him, have a chat, get to hear Revolver Ocelot and Fake Snake talking, later joined by Olga. We also get the security card, a rough idea where to go, and then Ocelot finds us. And Ames dies, and we're discovered. And Ninja, and it's time to escape, which I attempt with a box. That works amazingly, although I do eventually get out properly. Now we are after the president, so we keep moving, eventually finding a bit we need a sniper for. Now, there is a medication that steadies our hand. At this point, I didn't know that existed. That makes this slow. We also talk to Pliskin, and if it wasn't obvious that this is solid Snake, being introduced to Otacon makes it really clear. Also, our enemy, unsurprisingly, isn't Snake. Apparently he's Big Boss, which he isn't really, he's Solidus. Also, yes, they have a Harrier we need to shoot down, and yes, they pulled this boss fight basically from MGS1, but with better graphics. I didn't blow myself up this time with my own rocket though, so I've improved. You would expect it to be difficult taking down a Harrier jump jet on foot, but it wasn't. When it went down there, Metal Gear came up and saved them, of course, and we learned that yes, Pliskin is Snake, as if we hadn't already figured that out. Now, time to parkour, which went amazingly. Yes, I am really good at this. I do not want to admit how long it took me to get this, but I eventually did. Only to then get peed on. Yes, that really happened. Anyway, I got up, got moving, and continued to suck at parkour. Still, we see progress, seeing Olga and listening in on her. President is here, we need a remote control rocket to get him. I can't think they'll be easy. It gets worse too, because it's here, underwater. Although it wasn't too hard to find, thankfully. Aiming the rocket though is a bit of a challenge. It's hardly precise, but we kill the power, then need to get to him, we meet him, and he immediately gropes us. Right, I'm filing a lawsuit. We learn the truth from him though, that the president is only a puppet of a real group in power known as the Patriots, and most importantly, they've got to keep him alive to launch a nuclear strike. So he wants us to kill him. We won't, but Ocelot will. Next job, find Emmerich, who I'm just going to call Emma from now on, who should have the secret and the ability to stop this threat. It's through the water, and we learn part way she had the fear of it. Useful. We also find the body of our old friend, even better. And to make it even worse, we find Vamp, another boss battle. This time we use explosives to blow him out of the water and put bullets in him when we can. That was a challenging battle, but not beyond us, and we see him drown. Surely that's the last time we see him, right? Right? Regardless, back to Emma, our actual objective for today. More swimming, and then we need to get her out of a locker, once I check the rest of course. She's understandably a bit scared of us, and even once she trusts us, we have to hear about her water fears. A lot of battling, a hell of a lot. And while I do understand phobias, now really isn't the time to have this explained to us in detail. We get through, learn more about her and Otacon's sibling history, and then continue. She can definitely help us, so this is worth it. Which is good, because it's a lot. Taking things out, dragging her a bit further, and then repeat. Not the kind of companion mission that anybody enjoys in the game. When we eventually get out, we need to creep on this sort of very rickety little bridge, one at a time. So basically, this is now a sniper mission. Now I know how to steady my hand, I can do this, and I always enjoy sniper missions and sniper games, so I enjoy this. Of course, we can't go my way because Vamp is back. We kill him, again, but not before he stabs Emma. All that work for nothing. We have to get to them as quick as possible. Now we have a time and everything, but with almost nothing in our way, it's not hard. What she brought us did help, but not enough. Oh, and she's also dead. Oh, and Snake betrayed us and we got captured. Yeah, that's the thing that happened. We're being tortured now, that's familiar. And we're also naked. And revelations about our past and Olga, she lets us go, so we have to get moving. We're still naked. Things are getting weird though. The Colonel is talking a lot of nonsense and we keep getting murdered while naked, of course. A lot of weird stuff. And then Snake finds us. On the bright side, we have our clothes and also a sword. Now time for a big battle, which is abnormal for this game. We also learn the Colonel is fake, nothing more than AI. And we get more battles, and apparently the fission has been mailed. Regardless of the fission mailing, we take them all out. Fortune appears, not our fight though, because why would we have a boss fight against her when we can go against Metal Gears? I'm not kidding. At this point we have a lot of rocket service. It's not hard, but I'm still not sure what's real and what isn't at this point. Olga saves us, killing herself in the progress, and then Emma's virus helps with the Metal Gears and everything else. Now, more torture, loads more drama. Ocelot gets away with the Metal Gear, which is bad. Also not our fight. Our final fight is with Solidus, and we only have a sword that I haven't really used until now. Oops. Good news is, once I figure out his moves, he's really not hard to defeat. And this time, there's no twist. He's just dead. We meet Snake again, and perhaps more importantly for Raiden, he's now free to live the life he wants. The first thing he does is reunite with Rose, and that's that. That's the end of the game. So, with the game ended, I guess now is time for my opinions, huh? Well, the story is complicated, overly so, and is sometimes very confusing. The game definitely borrowed elements from the original Metal Gear Solid, which is kind of addressed in the game, but feels like an excuse for lack of originality. The controls are odd, and it lacked the novelty the original Metal Gear Solid had. I also didn't find the story as fun. However, with all that being said, I still really enjoyed this. Is it a great game? As good as the original? No. Is it still a great game in itself that's worth playing and that I would 100% recommend to my friends and subscribers? 100%. And I guess with that we are at the end of the video. I promise you that the gap between this one and our next Metal Gear Solid video will be shorter. But that won't be the next video. I think for my next video I'm going to head back into a galaxy far, far away.
Till the